Mobili. The top 10 best electric cars in the world at the current moment. One of the biggest benefits of owning an electric car is the improved dependability for consumers. Experts in the industry have extensively proven that electric cars are significantly more reliable thanks to their less complicated drivetrain systems. ICEs remain more popular because of their cheaper starting costs and better infrastructure, but they will come with more expensive maintenance and fueling costs, making them less dependable new car options, particularly over long ownership periods. These are 10 electric vehicles that have thus far proven to be far more dependable than their ICE, based on a combination of active recalls and J.D. Power's quality and reliability testing. 10. BMW 9. BMWs typically have a reputation for being expensive cars to maintain, but thus far, the all-electric iX SUV is proving to be a bit more reliable than the current generation X5. The former is currently subject to 2 recalls relating to the cruise control and unsecured battery cell monitor. These recalls don't apply to the flagship M60 performance model. The NHTSA lists 4 recalls for the X5 range. Admittedly, the X5 scores slightly higher in J.D. Power's quality and reliability test. BMW offers the iX in a choice of 2 dual-motor configurations, with prices starting at $87,250, making it a significantly more expensive option compared to its ICE counterpart. However, it appears you may benefit from maintenance savings in the long run, justifying this towering premium. We also have to point out the imminent arrival of a new base rear-wheel drive eDrive 40 model, which benefits from a substantially lower $900 annual recharging cost, compared to the base X5 S-Drive 40 ICE $2,750 estimate. 9. Audi Q4 e-Tron. The Audi Q4 e-Tron isn't a particularly intriguing EV, but so far it is proving to be a more dependable option compared to the brand's Q5 counterpart. The Q4 e-Tron currently has a recall related to an overheating charging cable, whereas the Q5 has a recall for a defective airbag. The Q5 also has more complaints and manufacturer communications. Making things worse for the Q5 is the fact that J.D. Power gives it a lower 69 out of 100 score for quality and reliability, compared to the e-Tron's 72/100 score. Audi has been on an aggressive transition to electrification, which is an incentive that the Volkswagen Group is driving across the board. You can have the Q5 as a PHEV, but this is subject to the same charging cable recall. 8. Kia EV6. The Kia EV6 is the brand's lead electric product, and so far it is proving to be as reliable as its ICE products. We wouldn't quite say that the EV6 outshines the brand's more conventional cars, but it certainly is a step in the right direction. The NHTSA lists 1 recall for a faulty charging unit, which the brand fixes with a new fuse. The Kia Sportage has 1 recall for a detaching roof molding, but there are 8 consumer complaints compared to the EV6-3. The Sportage is a substantially cheaper model, with hybrid and PHEV drivetrain options. J.D. Power also gives it a 83 out of 100 quality and reliability score, which is better compared to the EV6 76/100 score. 7. Mercedes-Benz EQS. The Mercedes-Benz EQ range has thus far been a bit of a controversial direction for the German brand because of how far it deviates from its core product line. Regardless, the EQS sedan is proving to be a pretty dependable luxury sedan compared to its current generation S-Class counterpart. The NHTSA lists 1 recall for both models, namely a faulty 80-amp fuse affecting both models. Both cars also have an impressive track record thus far, with no complaints listed. The S-Class will cost you more to run and maintain over a long period, making the EQS a more dependable car. However, it's clear that the brand still has some work to do in the refinement department. J.D. Power gives the S-Class a substantially higher 81 out of 100 score for quality and reliability, compared to the EQS's average 74 out of 100 rating. 6. Hyundai Ioniq 5. The Hyundai Ioniq 5 is one of the EV world's greatest success stories as it sets a new tone for the South Korean manufacturer's dependability reputation. The NHTSA currently lists one recall for the same damaged charging unit we see with the aforementioned Kia EV6 as they share the same platform. The 2024 Hyundai Tucson, on the other hand, is subject to an urgent faulty electric oil pump recall, which may lead to a fire. It also has more listed complaints compared to the Ioniq 5 range. J.D. Power ranks the Tucson's quality and reliability higher, with an 80 out of 100 score, compared to the Ioniq 5's relatively lower 7100 grade. Overall, the Ioniq 5 is a clear winner for dependability, as it possesses fewer moving parts and lower running costs. 5. Cadillac Lyriq. The Cadillac Lyriq leverages GM's Ultium platform to drastically improve reliability and dependability. The entry-level Lyriq EV is subject to a recall for an improperly welded seatbelt bracket, which isn't quite as severe as the XT6 recall relating to the windshield that isn't properly sealed. What is alarming, however, is the fact that the Lyriq currently has 21 complaints, which is far higher than the XT6's 2 complaints. Further hurting the Lyriq's case is J.D. Power's 60 out of 100 quality and reliability score, making it one of the worst scores for an electric car. The XT6 benefits from an impressive 84 to 100 score. On paper, this comparison makes Cadillac's ICE far more dependable than the Lyriq, but if we look at the EV's lower running and maintenance costs, the opposite is likely to be true. 4. Volvo C40 Recharge. Volvo is currently one of the front-runners of the EV game with an almost completely electrified catalog. The C40 Recharge is a fine example of how the Swedish brand is improving its product experience when we compare it to the XC40, on which it is based. The C40 range currently has no recalls listed, whereas the XC40 B5 has one recall for a malfunctioning turn signal and 4 complaints. J.D. Power gives the C40 Recharge range a 73/100 score for quality and reliability, which isn't exactly class-leading, but it's an improvement over the XC40's 72 out of 100 rating. Furthermore, the newer electrified model benefits from substantially lower estimated running costs and good range returns, making it an equally viable and dependable option for small families. 3. Audi Q8 e-Tron. The Audi Q8 e-Tron is a special product in Audi's lineup because it takes a familiar ICE product and transforms it into a more dependable dedicated EV. The model line thus far has no recorded recalls, complaints, or investigations. The Q8, on the other hand, is subject to 2 recalls relating to airbag faults and 1 complaint regarding a faulty electrical system. Interestingly, J.D. Power gives both models an identical 74 out of 100 score for quality and reliability. The Q8 e-Tron further benefits from some impressive specifications, including a relatively high 4,000-pound towing capacity and a rapid 5.4-second 0 to 60 miles per hour time. The Sportback Ultra trim's larger battery returns a 300-mile EPA estimated range and 86 mpg combined consumption figure. It also estimates you'll spend $900 on energy to recharge the model every year, which is quite a bit more than the ICE Q8's $3,600 estimated annual fuel cost. 2. Ford Mustang Mach-E. The Ford Mustang Mach-E may be the most controversial model on this list because of how it transforms the moniker's definition from being a dedicated muscle car into an all-electric family crossover. However, its improved dependability is undeniable. Its ICE counterpart is the Explorer SUV, which currently has no recalls, similar to the Mach-E. The Explorer has 1 investigation underway, whereas the Mach-E only has 1 complaint, resulting in it being a slightly more dependable option as of right now. Hurting the Mustang Mach-E's case is its low 69 out of 100 score for quality and reliability from J.D. Power, while the Explorer benefits from a much higher 84 out of 100 ranking. If we compare the all-wheel drive Mach-E and Explorer's running costs, we'll find that the EV counterpart is far cheaper, as the EPA estimates it'll cost $850 to recharge every year, whereas the Explorer will set you back $2,750 in fuel costs every year. 1. Subaru Sultterra. The Subaru Sultterra is a fundamentally flawed EV that struggles with many inconsistencies. However, it benefits from better dependability compared to its ICE counterpart, the Subaru Forester. Of course, this is only if we exclude the previous model year's catastrophic recall relating to a detaching wheel. The 2024 model doesn't have any active recalls, but the current Forester is subject to 2 recalls relating to a faulty driveshaft and coolant pipe. The Forester gains some ground with its impressive 87 to 100 score in the J.D. Power's quality and reliability test, while the Solterra returns a measly 67 out of 100, which is one of the worst scores recorded for the current catalog of EVs sold in the US focusing on dependability. However, it appears as the Solterra benefits from a far better reputation, primarily by excluding the brand's conventional boxer engines, which are beloved by fans but struggle with expensive maintenance costs.
I hope to inspire you and help you learn more about your favorite theme. Subscribe to my channel and let me know what you think.